Hello, everyone. I'm so excited about this conversation today. Number one, to be in the room with all of these amazing healers and people in a really high frequency just feels really, really good anytime. And on this Sunday morning with this specific group, I couldn't be more happy. So my name is Debbie Prediger. I am the founder of Empowering You Community. And I have been part of Matilda's world for, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years now, 4 for sure. And she's been part of my world, and we've done a few things together that have just been glorious. And so it's really my pleasure to introduce everybody to Matilda and some of the Divine Child healers, which I am also one of the certified Divine Child healers. So first and foremost, I want to just say welcome, everybody. I hope that you're as excited about this as I am. And then I would just love to, from my heart, introduce Matilda before she introduces herself and her program. So when I first met Matilda, she really, really interests me because she has this really soft presence about herself, but she is a powerful being. So that combination is like magic to me. It's like, draw you in. I want to know more. Who is this beautiful being? And then the certainty and the empowerment that she holds, and is just somebody that you, like, when she speaks, you go, oh, wow, there's something here and somebody that I can really learn from. And for me, there has been people in my life that I have like put up on a pedestal and looked up at them as in awe and wonder. Matilda's different than that. You look at her and she's like side by side with you. She knows your power. She pulls you up. She knows her power. She integrates and pulls in more. And there's always growth and expansion when you're in her world. And for me, that is a powerful leader. And I am blessed to be part of her leadership. And I have felt it, and I've been with her in programs and retreats where we're leading others together. And so if I have anything that I desire to grow into, it is to be more like Matilda. So Matilda, I would love you to introduce yourself a little bit and just
Yeah,
talk about why you created this program, which is so powerful.
thank you, Debbie. That was so sweet, so beautiful. And welcome, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here. It's really fun to talk about the Divine Child Healers program. And it's also very deep. And I think that's one thing that characterizes the you could say the integration work as a Divine Child Healer is that it's both a fun and a playful inner child that we're just bringing forward at the same time as we know our role to be super important in other people's life, in the children's life, our own, or at work, or however it looks specifically to each of us individually. And I can go back to when I first received because that ties into this, that when I first received the inspiration, it was, I think, 2.5 years ago. I had myself been working with children and the healing work with children for years. First time I learned I was specifically meant to work with children was, I think, 8 years ago, where when I worked with healers who were teaching me back then, they said your energy system, your whole body, your energy body is so resembling the children that come into this earth right now. And there's something there because you're moving ahead of them. You're one of the way showers. You are creating keys and codes. It's the energetic codes for them to move through the human experience, to integrate their deep sensitivity, their abilities. They have extraordinary abilities. And I realized that that was what I was bringing in ahead of them. And also maybe why I have found it so difficult sometimes to be in the body. I was coming in with a really strong, you can say, mental, like my mental well-being had always been really powerful, strong, but my physical health had not been very strong early in life. My body would be reacting to different experience, and I would feel pain or whatever it was. And really coming in and understand why that was, and my body was reacting and showing me when I was out of alignment, and really helping me to come back on track for my life. And that's what I see for a lot of the children. So I had been working with that for several years when I 2.5 years ago, I believe it was, received the the guidance or the nudge or the urge. You can say my guides were coming through saying, now is the time. And I was like, time for what? To create that healer program for other people who are meant to work with children. I was like, what? I didn't even know I was meant to do that. Are there really people who want to learn that? Is this really a thing? And they were like, oh, yes. And they're waiting for you to show up. They're waiting for you to present this to them because they are waiting for the next step. And the interesting thing that was coming in just I live in Europe, I live in Scandinavia, and there was a war starting in Ukraine at that time. And the children there had been living these normal lives, and suddenly they were catapulted into this, like a bit of a really intense experience for them. You can say a bit of a horror for that in the sense of these children had never experienced anything like that. And suddenly they were in this, you can say, kind of a nightmare for them. And my energy in this is that the children hear their masters. They're coming just as adults. We come in, and as children, we are masters of our own experience. We choose our experience. We know what we are incarnating into, and then what my guide said to me: yes, that is true. But you promised you would be here to assist them. And I can feel it moves me when I tap into that energy of us being here on the other side, helping them, creating this foundation for themselves that yes, they choose to bring in the new in these circumstances that can be difficult to grasp, like the intensity of for a human body, and they're masters, and they're choosing this, yet we also chose that we would be here and assist them to come in, realigning where that powerful presence within them, the safety within their body, when they're out of that experience, they need help to come into that peaceful presence within their body again and move forward. So it's not only these children who are experiencing these intense experiences, it's also the children who are born in safe places in the world with parents who are just normal, navigating their experience, but might see that their children have other needs. They might see that their children are specifically sensitive. They need something else than other children do, or that they did themselves, or that they see around in the world. I think there's a really huge number of children. I think you don't have to be specifically aware and awake to see that there are so many children in this time in normal families, in normal environment that are really really special, I would say, because that's what they are. They're meant to be this way, but we can see that there's something different going on. They have a difficult time like fitting in the normal society, probably because they don't have to, they're not meant to. But how will we navigate this when we have a child that is seemingly wired so differently? That is one of the big questions. And now coming back to Debbie, because I realize I'm just talking and talking, it's just coming so much through. But really, that is one of the things that we just need to ourselves really tap into our own wisdom. Because I can say a lot of things, we can hear a lot of things out there, but our own wisdom is what we need to be connected with when we move forward, either with our own children, the children somewhere else in the world. We simply just need to be connected with that wisdom within. So we have many questions during the Divine Child Healers program. Rachel and Paralita can attest to that when it's like, how do I do in this situation? And then I have guidance for it, but still it's like, what did you feel in that moment? What was like the energy that came through you? Because in that specific moment, that is when you will know, connected with your own wisdom. Okay, Debbie, I think it's time to send it back to you.
Yeah, Matilda, that was all perfect. And I could really feel that it was coming through you in a specific way. And I was like, this is beautiful. So I love that. But I do want to take some time right now to introduce you to a few of the Divine Child Healers that just graduated, just got their certificate. I believe that I am one of the originals. The OGs, anyone else an OG and the panelists, you guys can go ahead. That is one thing I did not tell you. This is webinar style. So anybody that's a panelist, we actually can have questions asked directly to us from the audience. So the audience is on the other side and they can type when they're chatting just to us, not to each other. So if they ask a question, we can pick it and we can answer that. So just so everybody knows why some people are showing up on camera and some people are not, that we just choose to keep a clean recording this way. The one thing that I would love to hear from each one of you that are our guests today is your name, where you're from, and then why did you feel like, what was that urge that said, this is for me? And then I'll get deeper into a few questions that come after that, but really just your name, where you're from, and why you had that pull to say yes. And Pam, we're going to start with you, and then Rachel and Lita, and you can just pass the ball over to the next person.
Okay, well, I'm Pam Bolton, and I live in Wisconsin in the United States. My draw, well, I've done several energy healing type classes, but I always felt drawn to the children. And I didn't really know Matilda. I probably just saw her through you, Debbie. Yeah, I guess you just feel like you're drawn to it and you go for it. You just kind of just like, okay, this is what I've got to do.
I can't wait to hear some of your takeaways, because you were definitely somebody that just came in, and Matilda often says there's people like floating out there. I say floating, she doesn't, please. They're floating out there and they're waiting for you to make that offer. I can feel it all the time, and Matilda can too. And you were somebody that just swooped in when I think we made a post last year about this coming up, and you're like, I'm in. And I was like, oh my goodness, I love that kind of certainty and energy when somebody just knows that this is for them. So thank you for reminding me of that. Rachel.
You bet.
Hi, I am Rachel Vasquez. I live just north of Seattle, Washington in the United States. And gosh, I've always worked with children when I was younger, and then I have 4 of my own. So I've always loved and been involved with children in my orbit. But it wasn't until my husband passed away and I was a single mother to 4 children, and a couple of them have some special needs. And I wanted to take a look at how to support them. And as I started to do that, I was realizing that the connections were all coming together with other mothers who are raising these young children, and they're doing it on their own, and they're trying to come in and support and learn about themselves and ways to come in and make that connection with their own children. And that's when it was like just this overwhelming yes through my body, that I was like, I'm in the right place. And I didn't even know for sure when I started. I was like, I'm not really sure what this is about, even though I have done a lot of energy work and energy healer. And I just knew that I wanted to be a part of this because I just adored Matilda. And yeah, it's been amazing.
Thank you, Rachel. I know that I said pass the ball, but I can't help myself. I mean, I love that we often come in thinking that this is specific to a certain thing. You thought you could help yourself understand your children and have a little bit extra support for you and your children, so you could be that thing. But there's a lot, and you guys are going to learn, there's a lot that's come through Rachel as she got more comfortable with this modality. And now she's just like, this is all the things I can do. And I love that. I just love that we come in simple, we open the door, we see what it's about, and then boom, it's like the divine kind of is giggling in the background going, oh, I knew you would, if I could just get you interested, the rest would come. I don't know, does anybody else feel that way, that they kind of feel like they're just it's like it's all been planned already. It just had to say the first yes. Yeah, exactly. I love it. Lita, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, hi, I'm Lita. I also live in Seattle, and professionally I'm known as Lita Stackhouse, but I'm more identifying with Lita Love, which is if you see my name on the screen. And I have been enchanted by children since I was in my 20s and awake to the beauty and magic that they hold. And as I had a daughter, and when she was 4, I did Montessori training so that I could be in the classroom with her, and then was introduced to this beautiful philosophy of this holistic way of being with children, not only in a school environment, but in a home environment as well. And she was my little laboratory experiment, so I got to try everything out on her. And then I was Montessori teacher for many years and saw so many things about that form of education, particularly. But as I was developing spiritually, I knew there was something deeper. And I, not too long before I met Matilda, I was in a meditation and in a guided meditation, and was told that I had been a teacher in Atlantis, and that part of my soul mission was to help bring in this Atlantean way of parenting, which is to learn how to communicate telepathically with children, bring them into nature, all these beautiful things that resonated so much in my heart. But I really had not a clue how to do that. And then a dear friend of mine, who I believe is in the audience, John Ruciano, also was in Debbie's program, Debbie's the first divine child healer. When I met him, he said, "You need to meet Matilda. You need to meet Matilda." And I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." But then he just kept saying, "You need to meet Matilda." So I went on the introductory call a year ago and instantly knew this was the next perfect step for me. As I listened to Matilda talk about what she just talked about today, it resonated so deeply with me. So it's been a beautiful journey to this point, and I know it's just the beginning, learning how to communicate with children in this very beautiful way and assist them to really connect to their soul mission and help them remove any obstacles that may be in their way. So that's a little bit about me, and I'm so grateful to be here.
Wow, thank you. The thing that I heard from each and every one of you is the passion. There is so much calling there, so much purpose, and then this emotion that's evoked because you get to live out that purpose. And it just really does feel like a gift. And I think that we'll bring Matilda in a little bit to talk a little bit more about that part of it, because I think that as a way shower, as the leader that's created this, she knows that she's partnering with the divine in this. And yet, as individuals, if we don't show up and really lean into who we are and put your hand up and say, "I will create this program, I will lead the way," then none of this happens. And so we create momentum and a movement because each one of us leans into our passion and our purpose. But Lolita, I'm going to start with you this time, because I have a question that I want it to come just right from the heart. And it is, what surprised you the most about this program once you got into it?
Oh, so many things. I was actually just writing about this. But I would say the number one, I can list all of them, but the number one was being able to actually communicate telepathically or really energetically feel into children, and then be able to have that verified by parents whose child that was. That was like, wow, this is really amazing that we can actually connect in with children at this very deep intuitive level. So.
Wow. Do you want to go a little deeper? Because we got maybe some people that are listening and it's like, what does that even mean?
Okay,
I'd
yes.
love for you to from your experience when you first were taught this, what did it feel and look like to you?
Well, I had previously done a training in animal communication, and I know it sounds really funny, but when I first started working with children, it was like, oh yeah, this is just like animal communication, where we can actually tap into in an energy field of that child. So what I mean is that when you really feel into, and all Matilda would give us is that not even the name of the child, the gender and the age. That was all we had to work with. Whereas in animal communication, there would be a photograph. So we could at least look at the photograph and we would know something about the owners, perhaps. So, and I kept asking Matilda, can we have a photograph? And she said, no, you just need to learn how to tune in. So that part was a process, but also learning how to trust that, but just really feeling into, as Matilda would guide us through this process, really feeling into who is this child. And for me, and everybody has a different process, but for me, it was coming in images. I would see a child and I'd go, oh, okay, that's what this child were. I would see them in a certain place. Usually it was somewhere in nature. I would be able to see how they were. I would feel into how they were, and then kind of get more of a sense of their personality and some of their traits. So, and then we learned a lot of other techniques that Matilda taught us over the year. But that I don't know if that explains it to people who may not know what I'm talking about, but
It's great. I thank you for that. Matilda, is there anything you wanted to add at this point that you felt was relevant right now?
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Lita. Yes, that was so fun, and you wanted the picture and kept saying no. Yes, I'm always amazed. We start out, and many of the students, some of them are experienced, but many of them will say, "I've never tried. I've never felt any energy. How do you even know that?" When I share something about a child and this energy and that, and they're like, and they end up being able to feel it themselves. People who have never worked with energy, people who are like professors on the university, work with something else completely, and have not been doing anything with healing. They said in the final sessions, and they can describe a child, they're just feeling their energy, and that has been so beautiful to me to see that it's not whether people have the abilities or not. Everyone has the abilities, just need to learn how to open them up. And that is also what I share a lot on the call. You have the wisdom, you have the abilities, it's just about remembering how to use it all. And of course there's practice in it, but it's also like know where the buttons are in your in the energy system, know how to use the tools. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, there's so much more. And you talked earlier about the keys and codes, and we'll get into that a little bit, but I really wanted people to like feel from like, is this for me? Am I even like, I don't even consider myself a healer. Maybe I don't fit in this group, but it really is for everybody. And as we talked about at the beginning, it's like, if you feel that pull, pay attention to it. That's all I'll say. Pay attention to that pull, because there's something there for you and your soul is really whispering to you. So you'll learn more about that as we go along too. So Rachel, is there something that stands out as it was a little surprising to you?
Yes, and like Lita said, there's so many things, but for me, the main thing was uh, as I learned and I became a Reiki master, and then I studied some mediumship healing in the past, but really it was for my own spiritual attachment, my own growth spiritually. And it didn't really cross into what I was doing as a grief warrior and working as a widow, empowerment and things like that. And so for me, I wanted this for me. And I didn't know. And what I was surprised with was that I didn't know I could do it in the way that Matilda taught. And I was very insecure, and I was holding on so tightly to attachments that I can't do what these other beautiful souls are doing, because this is too much, and I'm not that intuitive and things like that. And as I released that attachment to that belief, I was so surprised when we would get together in a group and we would discuss the children and that we were working with. And I was like, we all had the same experience and could pick up the exact same things in different ways. So it was so beautiful to see everyone's unique way of coming into that knowing, and the fact that I was also doing it, and I was so excited. I was just lit up, and that's when I realized this is so much more than what I had ever thought before, and the way that it connects me to my own spirituality, my own understanding with my guides and abilities was just really it was life changing, and it continues to be life changing for me as I open up more and more and more.
Wow. Oops. Yeah, I am unmuted. Wow. I love that, because you actually, they're speaking at that end of the spectrum that I have a lot of modalities. So how can this modality actually be different? And so for you, it had to kind of sneak in through, oh, it's for me. It's not for me to charge other people, where my other modalities I make a living on. This one is for me and my family, and I maybe won't even speak about it. But I happen to know now this is your go-to modality, even though you have all of these in the toolbox. And so I love that again, we get to open the door and peek in whatever way makes us feel comfortable. And then once we feel that certainty and that safety and that trust that we have the same ability as everyone else, and that the more that we tune into it, the better we get, then we can almost see how we fit in the other modalities. Okay. And then Pam, I would love to just hear from you, and Irene, I think it's Irene. I'm going to bring you up as panelists if you would love. So if you don't want to, just don't accept it, okay? Go ahead, Pam.
Okay. So what surprised me, well, for me, I know a lot of the people that were in the class do see the visions, and the pictures are coming to them. I don't get that. All I'm getting, I shouldn't say all, what I am getting, that's kind of like saying just, I don't want to say that. What I am getting is just my senses. And I might kind of feel like I'm hearing a word, but I don't really, it's not like I audibly hear a word. So it's not like you really need to be able to see the pictures, and you don't need to have words thrown at you from spirit. You still can do this, and you can still tap into that energy and still get, like Rachel said, you get the same responses that everybody else is getting. The same thoughts are coming into my mind, and I can still do it without the pictures and all of that. So yeah, I mean that I guess that is, it's just confident building, and it's just it does surprise you what you can do.
Yeah, Pam, thank you for that. Remembering us on the very first Divine Child Healers, and I could tell we all felt the same way. At first, we were a little scared to say what we seen or felt or knew, because we didn't trust, even though we're out in the outside world, like charging money, as some of us were charging money as a healer, and we trusted that ability. We inside a new modality, we were a little bit like, I don't know, I'm in here with these amazing people, and what if I don't see or hear or know the same thing? Like, how will that interfere with my confidence as a healer? But everything, like, oh, you seen that and you heard that, and oh, I can see now how this connects to that. I hadn't gone deep enough. So in reality, it allowed us to all grow together, and that really feels like it's that family of healers that was developing at the same time. And I get chills as I say that, is that this isn't just an individual modality. I really do feel that there's more to this, and each one of us feel it as we grow through this. So thank you for reminding me of that. I love these conversations. Now, Irene, I'm going to ask you to unmute, just make sure that you can. And is it Irene? Am I saying it right? Okay, perfect. So you are
I'm sorry.
also,
Yeah.
Sorry, you are also one of the just newly graduated certified Divine Child Healers, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Perfect. So go ahead and introduce yourself first and where you're from. And then I
Sure.
would love to ask you what surprised you when you entered the program.
Well, thank you for having me here, and so beautiful to see you all again. I miss you already. So my name is Irene. It can be pronounced in many different ways, so let's stick with Irene. I'm from Italy and Greece, and I forgot how I bumped into Matilda's program, I think through Instagram. And actually, ideally, in the beginning, I thought to implement my kind of awareness and knowledge. I'm originally an architect turned art therapist, and I realized working as an art therapist that kids were so much more fun. I just felt I was playing almost with them. I was questioning myself if I was enough serious and professional at times. And I really loved from the very beginning, the way that Matilda was speaking and her beingness, I don't know, it's just, I felt a connection. But then, similarly as Rachel, I ended up actually deciding to go for this program for a different reason. My dad had passed away, and I really felt on one side a need for support, extra support, and on the other side I was questioning if the program could be for me and I could be actually fit for it. But then I realized that I don't know, I just felt that I could just go with it and something good would happen. And I cannot put into words how much I learned about myself and how much I'm learning to allow my heart to really open and then receive whatever you kind of do during these healings. So to just add something else, and I don't know, one of you guys, or maybe every one of you, Rachel, Pam, and Lita, were talking about how in the beginning maybe you weren't sure of what you were doing. Well, that was me, and I'm still like in between, but it was so powerful. I remember during the first healing we did in group, and I could, like, in the very beginning, I could feel my heart pounding, beating so fast, and I felt like I was in the same room as you, with you guys, and I felt like I was like blown away. Like, the only thing similarly that I've done was receiving energy sessions. So I was a little bit familiar and not completely clueless. And I kind of believed in this kind of methodology approaches, but to actually being able to apply it, yeah, it was, and it's still incredible. And I'm still trying to figure out if I felt something or I was just imagining, but yeah, anyways, is magic. Yeah.
It is magic. I love this. I love it. Matilda, I would love for you to come on now at this point of we've heard something from each one, and just maybe something that surprised you about the program, but also about them individually. Whatever comes to you is good.
Yes, yes, that's so perfect. I love all of your shares. And I would say what surprised me most, even from the very beginning of this, as you asked the question, Debbie, who was like feeling surprised by this and called in? All the way from the beginning, I have been so surprised about how orchestrated the like pulling in of people have been, because it has been so beyond me. But it has also been the part of surrendering. In the first year, when I received the guidance, I also received the guidance of creating a program. I also received the guidance of going to San Diego. And remember, I'm in Scandinavia. So I was like, whoa, okay, that sounds wild. I'm going to do it because that's how I am. I will move with it. And there I met Giovanna and John, who will also be teacher on this year's program. I met the people along the way. And last year, I know there were many of you I didn't know. I knew Irene from Instagram, occasional writing back and forth, but many I didn't know. And it was so clear the moment that we came together on the first call that it had been like a soul family, soul reunion, coming together, everyone with their specific area of expertise. Rachel, you mentioned you're a widow. Pam, you have your own experience, and I hope it's okay. I say, can I mention what it is? Yeah, losing a grandchild to fentanyl poisoning. Lita, and moving through that stage of grief, and coming in and see what is my role with the children. How can I support their well-being, their self-love, moving into through the teenage year into the adulthood feeling confident. Lita, you have worked with those beautiful children with your art and in the Montessori school. And Irene, you also have been in your art and also working through it yourself. And it was so clear that everyone in the group had their own experiences but was so clearly pulled in for this specific purpose. And as I share on the first call and every call, it's like I move with the guidance. So it's not just me who's a teacher on this program, it's also the guides. It's also our guide team that we have with us through many, many lifetimes, and that will be there supporting us, you on the journey, and really allowing ourselves to move into a greater sense of feeling confident, feeling supported here on this planet, because that is also what the children need. They come in, they're wired very specifically for creating new things, a new world, and they're not meant to fit in or come into the old habits of how this is how we do things. But when you are in a phase of creating new, you really need to feel that level of support. You really need to be able to connect with your own confidence and move forward. And that is what we're here to show them in our adult self. You can connect to your own wisdom. You can connect to your own guidance. And in that way, you can move forward with clarity. It's not someone else who will tell you necessarily. Sometimes there's some who are tuned who will give you some nuggets of wisdom, some clues about how you can move closer to your own heart, to your own path. But a long way, it's just really your own wisdom, and you can hear it when it reflects in with your own heart's wisdom. It's like it resonates, and you can feel like, oh, that is true to me. This is my path. So I want to share that because I know that this year will also be some that I know, some that I don't know. And if you feel the calling, I was so blessed last year. I had several from before I started my spiritual journey. They had not been on any spiritual courses or programs before. It was really new to them. And they were just feeling it so deeply in the moment we started. And we had some of the kids sitting with us, even though they're here in Scandinavia, so they don't understand the language. Some of the kids would be with us on almost every call because they felt the vibration. They were just sitting there soaking in the energies from the group and sitting and smiling and just having a great time being in that energy. So that's also what I want to say. Many are like nudged in from the children, grandchildren, relatives in some way, the children they work with, because they are requiring this now, the support, some adults in their lives that can help them hold the vibration and the vision for the future. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, I love that. I love that you said the children are there soaking it up. So we know the children and animals can feel energy really, really well. And so they just often just come into it. And so isn't that interesting that it was actually like a healing process for them as the adult was learning and expanding and choosing. But it is for everyone. And I always say that when you heal one person, you're healing the family in general. So that in itself is a movement and everything. Matilda, I think right now would be a really great time for you just to talk about the logistics of it, the dates and how much time they would need to be on live with you and what type of homework. And then we'll go into a few more questions.
Yes. So we start on September 5th. And that is our first module. We have an intro call before that. That is for those who are in the program, who have signed up already, and those who are still considering. We have our early bird ending of 16th of July. So if you're already here now and considering joining, think about that date. And if you want to come in before that. And as soon as we get started in September, we will have modules twice a month. Every Thursday, every second Thursday. So and we start on the 5th of September, and then 2 weeks after that, we have a module. We have several guest teachers this year. We also have Debbie, who will come in at the very end of our 7 months together. So it's a 7-month program, and last year was 6 months. This year it's 7 months. So we have a bit longer for the first part. And the thing about homework. So homework, I think I wrote it somewhere. It's like, it's not big, but it's deep. So it's question that really requires you to reflect, feel, write down something that feels aligned. As my students know, it's like there are not a lot of it's a funny way of doing it, because it's not like there are a lot of requirements of how it should look, how many words, the format of it. but it's the energy of it. So if you're going deep and allowing yourself to really feel it, it can just be 5 lines, but you will get the feedback from the guides. So often I will channel the feedback, so you will really know that this is something that helps you expand. And that is what we do. We always have feedback. It's not about, that is also something the students have to get used to. It's not like you get like a grade or something. Oh, you did extra well. We will always have something, because this is a journey of endless expansion. Your reply or assignment is always perfect, but we will always help you expand. So that is that is that is the thing about it. And it's just like getting over the thing about being right. That is also something your inner child will maybe help heal that part of your inner child, that it's not about being right or wrong. You're always perfect, but you will always get to expand, to become more. So that is very much our feedback. And in the beginning, the assignments are about your journey, where you see yourself, how you see yourself work with children. And at the end of the program, it will be you handing in assignments from your healing. So you do a healing, you write some notes down, you send it to us, and we will help you to expand on it. And the healings can be on your own children, on friends' children, on other children that you know, or you can advertise to find children to have as clients during that time. There are no requirements for that, because it's for you as a parent, grandparent, whatever, and also for professionals. So it's really, really broad in that sense.
That is perfect. So I have a little bit of background noise because I have some children playing in the basement. So this is all good. But I really wanted to just like close this up in the way that we have heard a lot from, like, why did they join? And then what was different, what was exciting, what still continues to expand. And there's always more. And that's what I really, really love about this, is that we're kind of building this family of healers that is just, number one, learning about each other and how you individually come in, and you maybe came for a specific reason, but then something opened up inside of you that you now feel even a bigger calling, or a specific group is calling for you, a specific group of children, such as, you know, maybe it is autistic children, or maybe it's somebody with speech problems. It doesn't matter what it is, because once you come in here, you're surrounded by people that really believe in the inner wisdom and the inner knowing and the trusting. And so with that, you can lean into it a little bit more, and the certainty of who you are and what you are here to do. And that continues to grow and expand you as a person. And with that, the ripple effect continues to grow as to what is possible, what is actually possible with this divine child healer. So we're going to go into that question. Now that you've gone through this process, has anything opened up in you specifically on what is possible in your life, or what you see possible as this group continues to grow and expand? And we're going to start with you, Rachel, because I don't want you to have too much time to think about this, because I know that it's coming right through you.
The first thing that I was recalling is the connection within the group and the expansion of feeling the support as within my own life or my own experiences, when somebody, a child or a parent was going through something, and I would offer a support healing, and to be able to feel and tap into the rest of the group's energy, and knowing in that moment that we're all together and we have this special unique bond. And what that has done is granted me an understanding of collectively how we are so one. And then I began to notice things in other adults who are struggling within their heart, and trying to build their own businesses, trying to have a family, whatever that is. But there's a piece of them that has not healed from their childhood and things that they have experienced. And what I realized is that I now have like this understanding and knowing that the modality is so much more than helping the children, but it's the child within all of us, and that it goes through the lineage of ancestral traumas and lessons that still need to be realized and brought to fruition, and being able to support in that, because through that understanding, they're able to expand and then be that support out to other people. And that was something that I'd never really thought of or realized. But the more that I sit with this program, the more that I practice these modalities and connect in with the other children healers, the more that I expand myself, and it just keeps growing like a beautiful spark igniting into this beautiful flame. So
Wow. Thank you so much for that. Matilda, there was a question written in Q&A, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but I can. Okay. Do you want to take that question?
I could see it, and now I can't find it. What's in the Q&A? It's a sharing. Do you want me to read it? It's from Denise.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a question as well.
Yeah, she says, I
Okay.
work with verbal and nonverbal children, and I feel strong connection with all of them. Oh, no, there. I'm a Reiki healer too, and this all resonates deeply with me. Goosebumps and chills several times during this amazing call. Thank you for the invitation. Oh, thank you, Denise. Yes, it is. And the possibilities that we have when we really tap in with these children's energy. And also realize it's not a mistake that they're not speaking. There is a divine orchestration there, and they're helping us. I see many children, they're starting very late speaking because they really want us to practice these skills of tapping in with the energies, reading the energy. So they're really often training their mothers and dads to become so much more aware of the energy. So I love that.
Thank you. I should have listened or read it a little bit quicker. I thought it was a question. So I think I'm pulled to go to Lolita first. There's a few times when Rachel was talking that she's like, I feel it too. And I feel that this group is so much like that. It's almost like one person could finish the sentence and it's like, oh yes, I felt that too. But anyway, Lolita, I would love to hear from you.
Could you remind me of the question again, please?
Okay, so it's like are you seeing what's possible with the group more? Yeah.
Yes. With the group or individually or both?
In both, exactly.
Okay, yes. So yes, with the group, I also felt immediately this, we were all divinely brought together, and all the people coming in now are also here in this group. So that part is like, you feel it. You feel like we have this bigger mission. And the way I see it is that these are the children that are coming in now. Like most of us who are adults now, we came in with a soul mission as well, but most of us went to sleep. We just all fell asleep for a while. And now we're awake to it again. But the children who are coming in now are staying awake. And when they're being pushed into perhaps some sort of traditional education or whatever form of thing that is in the environment that doesn't fit who they came here to be, they're feeling this resistance, and this, like, then they start to question themselves. So when they meet people or are around people who go, no, yes, what you're feeling, this is it. Yes, you are here for this bigger mission. So for example, what I mean is when I do art projects with children, I talk to them about fairies and magic and all these things, and they're like, what? You're an adult who believes in that? And I go, yeah, because it's real. So it's like that. It's like they go, oh wow, okay, I'm not crazy like some people tell me it's just make believe. So they feel the support from us in whatever realm that is. And so for me, I see that all of us are playing this really important role in creating this new earth that we all are here to bring in. So we are here to guide the children, to help we're all bringing it in. So that to me is like the thing that I hold the most passion for. And I'm so grateful to have this modality to help guide me in that.
Well, we're so grateful for you. Just what a blessing. I just feel your heart and what a blessing you are to the world and those children and their parents. And then, of course, the rest of the world as it ripples out. I just love seeing that ripple. Irene, I'd love to hear from you of what you're feeling is possible.
Sure. Well, I guess in my case, I'm in in a work in progress, let's say. I'm trying to figure out how to integrate what I learned all this year with art therapy. But what I realized is how can I say, how more organic and more natural this approach is to me. And so how to integrate it to the more structure kind of methodologies that I learned. And going back to Rachel, when she was talking about also how this program was not just about maybe it didn't just help us to actually connect more deeply with the kids. I also felt I think it create more space for me to access so many things like presence, awareness, patience, letting go. I mean, I know now they're just words, but the allowing and the belief part that I'm still struggling, but I'm working on it. To really, I don't know, just trust the work process. And so when maybe a situation arises and you see the kid and he's struggling, or maybe not, but maybe the kid is from a family that is not completely awakened, let's say, that's also I felt triggered as an art therapist so many times where I realized that I couldn't help that much. But so that I think this program helped me to surrender that piece and to just do my best and trust that, like Matilda was speaking before, everything is already orchestrated and perfect, and to really, to surrender that. And I think, again, I built more capacity for my window of tolerance, let's say, but in a very organic, a soft way, which is something that I really craved when I was studying art therapy. Yeah.
Wow, I hear so many things in that few minutes. And so that excites me because I love to tap into somebody's like past life experience, not as in past life, but life experiences on this time. And then look at the resistance. Like, where is there a desire to do something? And where is there a BS statement that says this isn't possible for me, or this isn't possible now, or whatever? Because in the middle between those two things is, to me, your soul purpose speaking to you. And so when you said, I desire the structure or the methodology that I was taught, but I love this organic, I was like, oh my goodness, like you're meant to like blow up that old structure and that old way of doing things and create this flow that feels good for everybody. And so I just get in there and go, let's learn and dig in deep and do some more reflective work, because in our struggles, in our resistance is always at the other side of that is the thing that we as way showers are meant to teach. And I love uncovering that. So you just got me all juiced up there. Pam, what is possible?
I just love that everybody's different, but we're all the same, all going into that same goal, is to helping these children. Well, as Matilda had mentioned, that I had lost a grandson to fentanyl poisoning. And that triggered me working with some of my grandchildren to create these positive mindset cards. So we've got a deck for the real small kids, and then those between the tweens and the teenagers, and then now we have a new one for the empowered young adults. And I am out in public selling these. I do live events and that kind of thing. And so there I am promoting the divine child healing and talking to these parents. And I don't have a lot of events on my schedule right now, but it's like I need to, get more out there. But I see myself, just trying to find these parents who are struggling. They already have children who are struggling. Their self-confidence, and they all love the cards. I hear people that have bought them 2 years ago and are still using them. And that just makes me feel so good that these parents are taking action to help their kids. And so I'm just putting myself out there to offer them the support to help their children too. And I guess that's where I see it going, where spirit takes me. We'll see. I'm here, I'm open. And I'm really, really looking forward to this new class too, and being there as a mentor for them too. So
yeah, that's perfect segue into this. What's next for you? Because Matilda, maybe you want to talk about that process of how you can continue to grow and build the family and the mentorship program. Do you want to talk a little bit about how that is?
Yeah, so what I want to share is that Rachel and Pam and Lita will be with us in the autumn as mentors and help us with the new group. So they will be with us on the calls, and they will be with us in the chat, and they will be helping those who are new and want a little more assistance with this. So it's going to be really fun and exciting. And I see also us as a whole group moving forward, because we are connected. We are so connected. And I see this, and when I talked to Debbie just before we started this call, and Debbie said, "So, is there anything particular?" I was like, "There's something about just mentioning that this is a movement. The whole thing about the divine child healers, it's not specific for this group in a way. It's for the whole world, and everyone comes in and takes what they need from this program." And we're connected in the energy. Some are meant to meet some in there that they're going to work with it one way or another. And everyone's going to take what they need from the program and move out in the world and create new things and create new things and create new structures, as Debbie said with Irene, create new ways of doing things, create new connections and ways of seeing this connection with children and the connection with ourselves, because we are divine children that have grown up, and we still have the divine children within us who are feeling infinitely worthy of being who we are, bringing our uniqueness to this planet, bringing our uniqueness into our own life, and share it with us from that place, from a place of worthiness, feeling really worthy of being who we are. And I think that's an important point to make at this time, is that we come here bringing something new, just as the children do. And we need to honor that and love that, because as long as we're trying to fit in and doing it the old way, it's not going to feel very good. And we might not get the appreciation from the old energy. We will get it from our peers, our friends, those who are on the same journey. They will see us, our true self, and they will say, "I see you, and I see you moving forward with such beauty and so much love, and I see your perfection." So that is a way of empowering each other, because we are truly here to bring the new earth. And I believe that is what I want to say about this. Everyone have their unique journey, and I see that's the Divine Child Healers program is one of the things I really love, and is that it honors everyone's specific journey. And I'm guided very specifically with that, looking at each individual student or master and see and point out what is their unique contribution here, what is it that they're bringing. And I believe that is so perfect. We're not moving into one similar like shape. We're having each of our unique shapes, and that is how it's meant to be. Yes, Debbie.
Wow. Okay, so I could do this. Reminds me of how much I crave these conversations. So again, thank you for inviting me to do this. The last thing we're going to do is ask you, is there a message for somebody in the future? Is there something that you would love to just wrap up your thoughts with that we didn't get to? Or is there a remembrance that came to you today that you need to like verbalize so that you can like anchor it in? So this is really an open last few minutes for each one of you. And I feel free to use it in whichever way you would love. I think that I would love to go to Lolita first.
I love how you said my name. It's like,
There's a frog in here today.
no, Lalita, I like it. Wow. The thing that's I feel most passionate about is I sort of mentioned it briefly earlier, is that we are all here together to create the new earth. Sorry. Sorry, excuse me. Okay. Okay. I think now your frog leapt into my throat. And that we, as Matilda just said, we each are coming in with our own particular gifts. And Matilda is so beautiful about helping us see those if we don't already see them. And her guides give us such beautiful guidance as to how they see our gifts and how we are all like these puzzle pieces that are coming together to create this new earth reality. So that's the thing that I feel the most passionate about.
That was so beautiful. Pam, what about you?
Well, I guess mainly if you feel drawn, sign up and come join us. I also just wanted to say too that because I have taken so many other healing modalities, this was the class that I felt the most supported, the most, I received the most feedback to help me build that confidence that I've actually doing it. And, just, it was definitely worth my time to be here. And I loved every minute of it.
Wow, I love that. So the thing that I heard there is something that Matilda speaks about it all the time. And I feel the same way. Is like, we're not here just to teach somebody something and then they never do it. It really is important that you feel supported and expanded and that there's the what's next. And so some people will only use it for themselves and they'll pull it in when they're having a particular family struggle or even a struggle within themselves or whatever. But there's those people that will use it every single day in their career life or in their community in their own special way. And there'll be people like Matilda that take it to that next level and create a real movement and business out of it. And it's all perfect. It really is. Like, I see the puzzle pieces so simply that if every person understood that if they just leaned into who they are and where they feel that joy and that passion, that you're going out to a book fair and talking to children and showing them that there is this, if that is your piece of or your role in this, that's perfect. As well as somebody like Matilda, who is actually doing that, creating a certification. So if there's somebody out there that says, you know what, I would love to do this and I'd love to host a retreat in person every single year in this specific time in this specific place, and we bring in the parents and the children and we do the healings in person, I say raise your hand, because that's something that we could use in this. There's a place here for every single person, and you just need to lean into that and feel that calling. So again, thanks for reminding us of that. Irene, what about you?
Yeah, to be honest, I just forgot.
Question?
There was something about, there was something about what Pam just said that really resonated. Like, I was like, oh yeah, totally. Yeah, again, like for me, this program, like, I don't know how I would have handled this year without this program, because every time after class, I would feel so nourished in a way that it's you need to feel it to experience. And besides the inclusion that I feel we all received, the attention, the sense of safety, there was also space for silliness, and so we could be a little bit playful. And for me particularly, it was I craved that, because I had to deal with a lot of different type of people and situations were very serious, very corporate. So I was craving that. And I feel as an adult, we forget too many times how that is so important. And yeah, Matilda through the year really reminded us the importance of prioritizing our self-care, but also the playtime before the duties, which is something I'm still working on it, but there is more awareness. Yeah, that's.
Thank you for that. It is so important. And several times, and I've written it down several times, you guys have mentioned play and inner child healing and having more fun. And so I think that sometimes when we talk about certifications, we can feel like, well, if I take another certification, then what is that thing that I need to do with it? And I think Matilda is really good at telling us that your own wisdom knows that, and you don't need to do anything, but let's listen to that guidance within. That's really our job here, is to listen. And then it's up to us what we choose to do with it. So I know it's hanging around people that are amazing healers. It's beautiful because there's space to be that, oh my goodness, look at the good they're doing in the world. And there's space to say, and they can be playful, and they can be fun, and they can be healing. And so it reminded me today many, many times as you guys were speaking, that's that uniqueness that you bring to the table. Don't ever let that playful part of the art therapy get so structured that it's not fun anymore, because it's all about the joy. It's all about the play, and it's all about the expansion that happens and the healing that happens during that. That's the process. We talk about methodologies and frameworks, but that's the process, and it's that simple. So thank you. Okay, Rachel, you're last but not least.
I love this question because it's a twofold for me. What I've learned is sometimes the parents will come and say, my child needs help with this or that, or I don't like the way that they're behaving, or, they think that they know what is going on. And that's the initial connection that you have. And to know that we're here in support of the child's true essence and their divine purpose. And now I am a registered behavioral therapist. So I work with children with autism, from nonverbal to high functioning. And and so with that, when I go in and knowing that it's not, I don't want people to have a misconception that we're here to heal the child of an ailment or a condition that we perceive as not normal in a society. But it's to touch the children and help them balance and give them the support, and then take that information and communicate that back in a way that the parents have a deeper understanding and appreciation for their children, and also ways that they can continue to support and grow together with that child. And I think that is a beautiful movement to have, so that the child's true voice is heard, along with being supported and helping them grow in their perspective and in the way that they're meant to naturally develop while they're here in this physical earth. And then with that is, each child that I have encountered is so completely unique, because there were times where I thought, well, what if I'm just going to the same thing about every child and I'm just making it up in my mind? And then to have that knowing that it's not, and it's like, oh, I recognize this. And there's been times where I've had the same children on two different occasions, and I will immediately say, oh, I know that child, even though I don't know what they look like or anything else. And that is an incredible experience to have from a healer perspective. And then with that is also tapping into, there's times where I'm with children and I'm like, oh, they're silly. Oh, they're very organized. And I can take that and integrate that into my own toolbox of my own healing or my own recognition or my own connection of, oh, I loved to be that silly when I was younger. And now that reminds me or allows me to feel those beautiful feelings again. So it's just, it is such a broad way of directional integration of a beautiful modality that does so many supportive things for the children and for humanity as a whole.
Well said. Well said. I love it. That was perfect. Matilda, any last thoughts before we close off?
I just want to say thank you. It's been so beautiful to have this reflected back to me in this way. I feel so blessed and honored to be leading this program. It feels like a divine orchestration indeed, soul family indeed. So I can't wait to meet those who will be with us for the autumn from September. I already know some of them who have registered, but we still definitely have space for more. So if you're still slightly in doubt, or if you just would like to just connect with me before, you're welcome to send me an email and we can set up a call, a discovery call. If you feel completely sure, like I know some do, like last year, just jump in and become a part of this beautiful movement of the Divine Child Healers. I'm truly excited about it. Yeah, and thank you, Debbie, for hosting this. And thank you, Rachel, Lita, and Irene, and Pam, who had to drop off. It was just beautiful hearing your words. And thank you to everyone who was here or will see this in the future.
Yes, and so for logistics, you will be getting an email from Matilda. It's so that you'll have her email address because it comes out as part of this, that there'll be a replay, and it's set up that even all of us can share that same link out that we registered on. And when people register from this point forward, they'll just go right directly into the recording. So feel free to do that if you know somebody needs to hear this. I mean, they're out there floating and searching, as I always say, and we all can be that guide and that way shower to just point them in the direction, especially if they don't even know this is possible. And I certainly didn't before I started. So anyway, thank you so much, each and every one of you, and we will talk to you later.